Why, how stupid would I be to do that? Is this camera on me?
Yes, it's on.
That's stupid. Use your common sense. This is not me, y'all. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. I gave y'all 30 years of my around. You killing me, man.
At this point, we briefly paused the interview. His publicist helped calm him down.
What is up, guys? It's George with Fantasy Outlook, back at it again, here to ruin your fantasy team one piece of advice at a time. In this video, I'm going to be covering the Antonio Brown trade, what it means for the new Oakland Raider going forward, and where exactly should you feel comfortable drafting him in fantasy. But before I get into that, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel if you find any of the shit I'm saying even remotely helpful.
They got the Cowboys that time. They've been throwing that wide receiver screen to Antonio Brown so often, and then they got it in behind him. Here's a fake spike. Brown, touchdown, Pittsburgh. Shades of Marino.
Alright, so as you saw in that highlight, it's hard to deny how great Antonio Brown is and what exactly he meant to the Pittsburgh Steelers these last 7 years or so, which made it all the more surprising when Pittsburgh actually traded him to Oakland for what essentially amounted to a bag of chips and a Coke, a 3rd round and a 5th round pick from the Raiders. Personally, I don't even know how the Steelers couldn't get at least a 2nd round pick. I mean, we're talking about a guy who has led all wide receivers in targets, receptions, yards, and touchdowns since 2011. He's obviously the best wide receiver in the NFL, and he should maintain that status for at least a couple of more years, unless he really mails it in. But for all of AB's flamboyance, he eats, breathes, and shits football, so I don't see that happening.
Roethlisberger to throw, and airing it out deep. Antonio Brown has got the Steelers touchdown.
But now, instead of Big Ben, AB will have Derek Carr throwing him the ball, and at first glance that may seem like a major downgrade, but David Carr actually had a nice bounce back year last year. If you listen to people on the streets talk about Derek Carr, you'd think he was his brother David. He's not. He posted career high numbers in passing yards and QB rating, and according to Pro Football Focus, a site I reference a lot, he was the 13th best quarterback in 2018, and that was on a 4-12 Oakland Raider clusterfuck of a season. Is he Big Ben? No. But he is competent enough to give AB the ball when he is open. The Raiders are still projected to be bad next year. They're going to be down a lot, which is going to force them to throw more often. David Carr averaged more than 40 pass attempts last year, and that doesn't figure to change, especially with the addition of Brown. I mean, look at this play. Doesn't matter what uniform Antonio Brown is wearing, that route running is not going to be stopped anytime soon, whether he's a Steeler or a Raider.
Roethlisberger lets it fly. Oh, Antonio Brown is gone! Touchdown!
Antonio Brown is due for some regression, but there was no way, no way he was going to repeat 15 touchdowns anyways, even if he would have stayed in Pittsburgh. I see him more in the 8 to 10 touchdown range, which is still wide receiver 1 territory if the catches and yards are there as well, provided Antonio Brown stays healthy. I'm a little more bullish this year on Antonio Brown than most of my colleagues, especially in PPR leagues. I have him ranked as a 3rd wide receiver overall this year, which would put him in the late 1st, early 2nd category. As you see, wide receivers are stacked this year. You still got guys like Julio Jones, Adam Thielen, even Juju now that AB isn't there, that didn't even crack my top 5. These are all wide receiver 1s. So realistically, I see AB dropping to that mid to late 2nd round pick. But if he does, do not hesitate to grab him. The first year on a new team is always a honeymoon phase, so even if the Raiders suck again, AB will be happy getting his numbers and making that $30 million guaranteed, no matter how bad the Raiders are, at least until they get to Vegas. I see Antonio Brown catching at least 100 balls, 1,200 receiving yards, 9 touchdowns, a typical AB kind of year. He's definitely somebody I am going to draft in the mid to late second round. And hey, if this football thing doesn't work out for AB, at least he's got his second job to fall back on.
Happy 38th birthday. And I hear this your second anniversary wedding.